Hello YouTube, my name is Will. This is my 2005 Mitsubishi Evo 8 RS, and today is Friday, so we're going to do a Fun Fact Friday. I started this last week. This is the second one where I'm just going to take a small fact about the Evos and talk about. It's not going to be anything crazy, just kind of like, you know, one-liner type things, facts, figures, just things you can say to impress your friends. Well, if your friends are impressed by this, that may say something about your anyway. We're gonna do another fun fact on the Evo, and that is talk about why it was the awesome car that it was. Granted, a little biased. All right, if you didn't know, this is my 2005 Evo 8 RS. And I want to take you back a little bit in time here to the early mid-2000s, before this crazy horsepower war that we're seeing again. We're talking a time when a Mustang GT had roughly 260 horsepower, and the Camaro didn't even exist. Even the Z06 barely broke 400. This is a time when specifically you could have an Evo 8, 9, depending on the year, brand new for just a hair over $30,000. And actually, if you're willing to go with an RS, actually under $30,000. This car new was like 28, I think, MSRP. The 9 RS was right around 29. So specifically, if we put that in perspective, there's another daily driver sedan type car that we always think of, and that's the M3. Now granted, back then the E46 was only a 2-door, but I still think if you're shopping for a do-everything type of comfortable car, comfortable maybe pushing it, but a do-everything type of car, you still looked at the M3 even being a 2-door. So here's the Evo, 4 doors, all-wheel drive, and with performance specs that almost mirrored the M3. So I did some Googling, and while a lot of the magazines tend to change their numbers from test to test, why this is, I'm not 100% certain. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The point is, the general consensus is an E46 was around just a hair over 13 seconds and 107 miles an hour in the quarter, with a 0 to 60 of roughly 4.5 seconds. Not bad. Not good by today's standards, but back then, not bad. This is a car that cost in the $49,000 to $54,000 range, mind you. Then you had the Evo come out that could do 4.60 to 60 and a 13.4 at 104. I personally did a 13.3 at 103 when I still had temp tags on my GSR 9, and I'm not a good driver, so the cars had it in it, and we all know how easily moddable they are. So the fact is, for over 60% less price, you could get M3 specs, and that's just like straight line. If you factor in handling, there's no contest. I mean, there was no car that came anywhere near the Evo for the price point, and there's still few cars that come anywhere near the Evo for the price point. So you have to realize how just earth-shattering the Evo was to the US market. You know, prior to this point, if you wanted something that could go fast in a straight line, like, you know, a Corvette or something, or you could get something that was pretty fast but handled much better, like an M3. Now, granted, you could always go crazy like Porsches, Ferraris, things like that. But as far as like normal cars, suddenly you have the Evo that can kind of do both. Now, it wasn't like crazy high horsepower cars from the factory. Yes, you could mod them, but it wasn't going to keep up with like a Z06 on a highway roll, on a highway roll or anything like that. But the fact is that in normal everyday life, everything you did with your car, driving around, merging on, stoplight to stoplight, all this stuff, the Evo was just as fast as almost everything out there for $28,000 potentially for an RS. That's just insane amounts of power for the money, or performance, I should say, for the money. Now, for those not living in the US, the Evo was nothing new, and yeah, thanks to games like Gran Turismo and different things in the Fast and Furious franchise, the Evo wasn't unknown. But there's a difference between knowing something and experiencing something, and that's what it was. So anybody who experienced the Evo back then and could compare it to the top-end cars of the day it's very obvious how special the car was. And that is why that back then and to this day, these cars remain so special and retain such a high resale value. I mean, this car, like I said, retailed for about 28 and could probably sell it for mid 15, 16 right now. And that's with well over 100,000 miles. If you've got one with less miles, you could probably sell for even more. So I don't know what the resale values are on some of those other cars I mentioned, but I promise you they're not that high. Not percentage wise anyways. Buddy. Nice. Good nap. Of course, you know Enzo and Lotus, they do have their own YouTube channel and Instagram if you'd like to follow along with them. Right, boys? Jeez, are you okay? Hope you enjoyed this Friday fun fact video. Subscribe for more Evo content, pup content as well. As always, questions and comments below. If you're looking at an Evo specifically and you want to DM me on Instagram, that is the best place to do it. If you have any questions or anything about a car you're looking at buying. Other than that, appreciate you guys as always, and we'll see you on the next video. Enzo, Lotus, say bye. Oh, say bye.